off by showing you how to make the petals for the flower. And the yarn I'm using, this beautiful purple, is this Paint Box Cotton Decay. You can use Aran or category 4. This is category 3. And because this color is a little difficult to see and the white will be very difficult to see on camera, I'm going to use this color to demonstrate the petals. So to make the petals, you will need floral wire. I have linked the wire that I'm using, just thin floral wire, and then for the stems you'll need a thicker wire, but everything that I'm going to do in this video will be in the post, including the stitches to make the petal. That way if you want to just refer back to it and not have to watch the video again and again, you can do that. I'll start with my slip knot, and I'm using a 3.25 millimeter, and this is category 4 cotton, and the 3.25 will work with it as well as it worked for the category 3 yarn. This is Pansy Purple. It's a great flower color for different types of flowers. All right, so I'm going to start by chaining 14. And then first we'll do that kind of vein down the center. So skip the first stitch and then work single crochet all the way down. So you'll have 13 stitches, and then you'll put an extra one in this last stitch, so it will total 14 on this side. Now it's worked in the round, but in the pattern you'll see it'll say row. So now that was row 1, so we're going to turn and work row 2. And we'll start, move that tail out of the way, slip stitch the first 2. 1, 2, then 1 single crochet, one half double crochet, then 4 double crochet, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to decrease a little bit, so I will work 2 half double crochet, 1, 2, and 2 single crochet. And that second single crochet is going to kind of be up at the top at that turn where you skipped the first chain and started that kind of vein center row up here. So there's 2. And then now this would be counted as row 3. So we'll just kind of reverse what just happened. So 2 single crochet, 2 half double crochet, 4 double crochet, 4, then 1 half double crochet, 1 single crochet, and then 2 slip stitches, and that'll keep the end nice and tapered. Now it's going to have a little bit of a kind of a knot. Look at the end where that the slip knot start was right here. And when we put the petal together, you can just twist it. Like here's the bump, and it'll be like this right now when you're working it, but then bend it inwards and you'll never see it because it'll be like that. And then even on the outside of the petal. All right, so now it's time to bring up the wire. And this is about a 7-inch. So if you're working from a coil, instead of buying the 14-inch wire cuts that I have listed, that's how long you would cut this. And then make sure that there's enough of it sticking out so that as you're working, it doesn't kind of disappear and then you can't find it again. You know, kind of like when you're working or when you're doing washing, you have something with a drawstring and then the drawstring goes in, never to be found again. That's what this would be like. Let's push that out. All right, so let me find, so at this point, I'm sorry, let me tell you, we're going to just single crochet around this. So that'll fill it out, smooth out the shape, and connect the wire. Just find first place of insertion. And then work that so that the wire is caught by the yarn. But once you have it attached, you just work around it like this. And that's it. It's very simple to make these. So you'll need 7 per flower. And then you have the option of using stamens. And I have those linked as well. It's these. You just put inside to give a little bit more of a realistic look that when it's peeking through. I think that was about $4. They're made for cake decorating, actually. I don't think they're edible, but they're delicate for cake flowers. And cake decorations are usually made very nicely, so I think those are quite pretty and serve the purpose. Now at the top here, you can get this nice curve. Now tulips have that lip at the top of the flower. Tulips are my absolute favorite, so I wanted to make these. I was excited about it. Doing a tulip wreath. I can't really have flowers anymore because of my cats. Anything alive, they can smell it and they want to bite it. So crochet flowers are safe from, they're pet safe. Made the mistake of pulling my yarn from the outside to do this demonstration, and it's not flowing very easily. But you see, just working this wire in, it's pretty simple around the edge. And to secure this, if you have a glue gun, you can use that to secure your yarn around the wire at the base. Or you can use some Scotch tape. Depends what you're making it for. If you're doing this for actual bouquet, I would use the glue gun and not tape. But the tape honestly will get hidden. It's just if you think you might burn your fingers, or if you don't have a glue gun or don't want to use one, tape will work. Because it's going to get hidden under the floral tape once everything is together. All right, so I finished my petal, and you see how it comes in nicely here, that little kind of hook. Come through the end here and come around my I'm going to just slip stitch to pull it through like that. And then cut the yarn, leave a little bit of a tail. Pull this through here first. Okay. So let's see, there's that kind of bump in the back right here. So I'm going to fold it in on itself, push that backwards. Just figure out which side you think looks prettiest to your eye. This out of the way. Twist this shut. And then let me get the tape and show you what I mean. You can take both strands if you need to, or cut that first one and just kind of smoothly wrap it here around. Only that on this here, only a very small amount will show. That's why if you tape it further down, it's just going to get hidden when you're using floral tape to put everything together. So I would just leave the tiniest amount up here exposed in case it peeks out. Let me show you where. You see, all of it's going to get hidden in here anyway. So that it doesn't matter if you use tape or hot glue. For me, the hot glue and my nails, they're not that long right now, but it would probably burn my fingers, or how I could set it to hold it. And then again, with having pets, they're always right in what I'm doing, and I don't like to use the hot glue gun unless I don't have to. All right, so that's how you make the petals. And then next we're gonna make the leaves. All right, so to insert the stamens, what I'm going to do is come here and grab a few. 6 or 7, and then before I seal up one of these at the base, I'm going to use one of the wires to secure, so you can bend it or leave it flat depending on how much you want them to protrude. And just use this to kind of coil them around. Then bring it and secure. So this would be your starting petal on the inside when you go to wrap them onto the stem. You've got them in, and you can see with my finished flower here, they just kind of peek through. So now I'm working on leaves. Let me show you how to work those. And I'm making them in 2 different colors, just for some dimension, but you do whatever you like. I'm using yarn that I already have on hand because you don't really need much. All right, so here's my second color. And for this, you'll need a full size if you're using the floral wire pre-cut wires that I have linked. And then if you're cutting a length from a coil, cut it to be 12 to 14 inches. To get started, I'll do my slip knot. And instead of what I did with the flower petals, I am working this free edge in when I come around. So you see here, there's just one tail. It's been worked in. Alright, so to start off, I'm still using my 3.25 millimeter hook, and I'm going to chain 28. Alright, there's my 28. Now for this, get that wire way up here, and I would bend it a little bit because it's really going to want to creep into your work, and then you'll lose it and have to pull everything out. So by bending it, it can't easily slip up as you're working. All right, so I will skip the first stitch and go into the second one. Move that wire out of the way. Pull up and work a single crochet. Next, single crochet, so that's 2 single crochet, then 2 double crochet, did I say double? 2 half double crochet. So 2 single crochet, 2 half double crochet, and then 21 double crochet. And if you don't want to keep count, just look when you get towards the end that you have 3 left. That's how you know you've worked enough of them. Yarn works. There's 1 double crochet without splitting my yarn. See, and I'm working over the wire the whole time. It's going to take on a really pretty organic shape as you work it, and you'll see when I come back along the other side what I mean. I'm going to stop right here and make sure that this is bent and doesn't start traveling up as I'm working. So I'll meet you back when I have my 3 stitches left on this side. Alright, so here I am at the end. I've got 1, 2, 3 left. So I'm going to work 2 half double crochet, which will bring me to the last stitch of this side. So there's the last stitch. Still have my wire traveling along. Now in this last stitch, I'm going to put 3 single crochet. 2 and 3. Now there's that tail, so I'm just going to lay this along the edge here so that I can work it in. Bend your wire a little bit, come around. Now here's where those 3 stitches are, so I want to start working my next one right here and not into that same space. So I'll do 1, tighten that up, single crochet, then 2 half double crochet. So I'm going to mirror what I did on the other side. There's 1, there's my second one, and then work these 21 double crochet till I have 4 left. Now it's already kind of taking its own shape. Let's see with this one here. A little nice curve, looks organic, even though it's yarn. I think that's kind of pretty. All right, so I'll meet you at the end. All right, so I have 4 left, and I'll do what I did at the beginning, which is 2 half double crochet, and then 2 single crochet. I'll cut a long tail so that I can wrap it around the base. Pull that through. I'll twist. Try not to disturb that curve that I got there. And then these, they have a longer base just to give you more flexibility with how you want to place them when you're making your wreath, or if you're using them for a bouquet or something else. I'm going to wrap quite a bit and give it a good 2 to 3 inches. And then secure it. And you, again, you can use glue or tape, and then just trim the tape so that there's no tail hanging over. I think I have my tape on my other table, but that's what I'm going to do with my leaf. And then next is to start putting it all together. So get the floral tape and your petals ready, and the stamens if you're using them. These are optional. So I've got my stem wire here, which is thicker than the petal and leaf wire. You can see the difference here. And it should be called that in the store when you get it. So I've got my stamen attached, and make sure that you have your petals the side that you want exposed. You know, if you have the little kind of bump in there, if you want it on the inside. Oh, I think I got all my hairs in here. Before you start winding, just so that once you start, you don't have to stop and adjust something like what I'm doing right now. All right, so here's my floral tape. I have trimmed all the excess tape and any extra yarn tails that might stick out, because the tape won't, this isn't a sticky tape, but it won't adhere to the yarn at all. Put my base here about there. And keep that floral tape up pretty high. Getting started is a little tricky. There we go. Just really snugly pull it, and then start layering in your other petals. Two snug wraps before I bring in my next one. And then plan on putting in 7 petals. You could do a little fewer depending how you're using them. Like with the leaves, when I do those, I'm not going to put 2 and 3 leaves on every stem, because I'm using it for a wreath and it could get a little too bunched up. think I might just do 6 for this one. It looks pretty good. All right, so from here, I'll start winding downwards. Oh, this wire is so long. It's hard to maneuver for the camera. All right, so I'm going to just start spinning this instead of spinning the tape. It'll be a little bit easier. Make sure that nothing's peeking through. Unwind this a little bit. It's hard to keep it smooth when it's twisted. Okay, I'll bring in my green leaves. Or the lighter green, I mean the grass green. It's a pretty, I just love green so much. All right, it's a little too close. I think I want that down further. Oh, it's still too high up. With the way I'm working the wreath, I probably could even just stick it directly into the foam, because most of this will be covered by ribbon. You'll already see this because it'll be done in the image when you click on this video or in the post. Okay, so now I'm ready to start putting all this together. So I've got 5 tulips, some extra leaves to play with, and if I want to, I'm going to cut this apart and add this as well. Just see how we go. And I'm going to trim down my stems a little bit more because they're going to be too long for this size of a wreath. So again, another Dollar Tree find. I'm trying to do as much as I can on a budget for people that maybe don't know that you can find this type of thing at Dollar Tree. So the yarn, the ribbon, $1.25. This $1.25. The floral tape, $1.25. Some locations have the floral wire also, but not the floral stems that I'm aware of. I've got a lot of those linked in the post. So let's get these trimmed down, and I'm using kitchen shears. The kind of knuckle area in here fits in there, and it cuts this just fine. So I'm going to do 3 that will be up towards the top, and then 2 towards the bottom. And you can see I picked my ribbon to, I don't know what came first, if it was the ribbon or the flowers, but I had the purple yarn. I always like this color. I saw that ribbon, I thought, oh, this would make such a great wreath. Trim this down a little more. So I will be hot gluing the ribbon, but first, to get started, I want to kind of place it and get it where I want it before I commit to the glue. So I've got some tape on here, and I'll just start smoothing this around to cover the floral foam. So let me get that going, and then I'll come back. I need to find a better way to move this around. So the ribbon, it's about 9 feet. I have 2 rolls if one is not enough. It's hard to know. Just start working with this, but I think it's a nice cherry spring color. And then I have the narrow, more white grosgrain ribbon that I'll put right where the flowers are. That pop of white to kind of lighten up the deep violet color. Okay, so I'm kind of placing my flowers in the silk the faux flowers, whatever you prefer to call them. I've cut off portions of it. Just kind of place them. I've got my freestanding leaves that I can kind of place how I like them. I didn't attach all of them when I was wrapping the stems, just so that I could kind of fill them how I like. And I've got some kind of poking out to the side so that it's not all flat on this one side. I want a little more body. And I'm going to use my thicker ribbon again. So one roll of the 9 feet did this 9.8 inch the floral wreath. But since this one that I have is so thin, the grosgrain, it's going to look like a bandage, I think, if I use it initially to wrap. So I'm going to just finish this side, kind of wrapping with this, and then I'll go over it again with the white to do an accent. I'm going to hold it in place with my tape and then come back and make it look a little more decorative with the white, so it's not so heavy with all the purple. You see here how I'm wrapping. I'm not pushing this one down until I get to it so that it has a little more movement and it doesn't look quite so compacted. And then line up your stems so that they're not all bunched, tucked into one spot for a smoother look. Pulling very taut. And of course your crochet stems and leaves are going to be moldable once you get everything set, just to kind of look the way you like it. So I've got wrapped. Now I'm going to come back in and accent with the white. It in place, and then I'm going to come around. It needs to be hidden a little bit. I'll leave it on the roll just so it's easier to manipulate around. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to cut, and I'm actually going to secure it with a pin, or with pins, and take the tape out. Have things held in place, like right here. Pull it taut. Oh, I have to trim that down a little bit more. Probably could hot glue that and just have the pins hold it in place while it dries, but I'd rather use pins just in case I want to adjust it again at some point. And here, And we have our crochet spring wreath with tulips and beautiful leaves.